Hey guys, Indy here, continuing my video splurge. Yay! Took a day off just to do this. So, VR, video response to Zero to Hero. Again, I first found it on IvanMike's channel, but he was responding to Robert the Narrator. The channel name is Confessions of a Frustrated Game Master. Love the title. And it's the topic is when kind of the starting power level of a PC. I, for one, don't particularly have much of a problem with starting at zero. I understand the adult issue of, hey, I don't have a lot of gaming time, so I kind of want to start getting going. Now, from a fantasy perspective, fantasy, I won't just say medieval, but a fantasy perspective, most likely, I mean, you're starting off as a fighter, as a mage, as, you know, a spellcasting cleric, as someone who can pick locks. That's not very zero, if you ask me. Sure, you might still be weaker than a lot of things out there. I mean, obviously, if you're level 1 and, say, a monster book goes up to 20, clearly you're at the bottom 5%. But that's a little bit about GM balance. Like, what is the GM throwing at you? I also don't have any problem, depending on the theme, to start higher than that. One of my original first favorite MMORPG online video game was City of Heroes. And you regularly took on anywhere from 3 to 7 bad guys all at once, all by yourself. And that was just how they designed the game, you know, so that you felt like a hero. Not because you and all your buds got together to take down this one big, hard monster, but because you were able to alone take out several bad guys. So, there could be the setting and world type reason to have you start higher than that. Have you start really kind of being able to own the block. And that's cool too. For me, what I really want to see, though, is I want to see the system have a way to represent everybody else. I want it to be able to represent all the zeros. If, as you start off a PC, you're already kicking butt and taking names with a brand new PC, that's fine. Just tell me as a GM, how do I represent Bob the mechanic, Joe the baker, you know, how do I represent them? And sometimes that can be done by having a professional type of class. So weapon bonuses don't go up really fast, and if at all, and, you know, combat survivability, whether that's hit points or soaking or whatever the mechanic of the game is, doesn't really go anywhere. You know, we are, as Robert the Narrator says, you know, somebody who can get taken out by 1 or 2 punches. I used to box. I think I have a little bit more than me in that, but not for decades. So, yeah, if push comes to shove, I think he would too. But anyways, you know, if the game has some way to represent those people, that's what I really want to see. It's not so much of a question of where do we start, because let me switch to the other type of concept of this, you know, regarding this point. I'm getting all tongue-tied. Start off as a generic adventurer, level 1 generic adventurer. You probably are very similar to the generic starting city guard soldier, or the very generic other merc, or the very generic low-level Padfoot thief. Padfoot was a ranking from Morrowind, I believe. I just pulled that out of nowhere. You know, you are on that level because that's what everybody else is doing in a fantasy setting in particular. You being a first-level fighter or first-level mage is not that unusual, actually. Making it to 20th level or 10th level, that's what's unusual. So I guess that gets me to my final point is, you know, even though I run kind of almost a boring, poor world in my role playing worlds, I tend to, at least. I still want my character starting off, not starting off. I want them to be in the top 5%. No, sorry, in like the 80th to 95th percentile. There's always going to be somebody higher than them. And the idea that they're in this range also says you've got shoes to grow into. You can fill this role, but you've got the potential. And that was a little easier for me to identify in, say, Rolemaster, my main system of choice the past decade or more, or definitely more, in that your ability scores had both a current score and a potential max. So, you know, something you could do when generating PCs is say, you know, we want to allow the potential of most of your primary stats, you know, half the stats that fit your character more, to be any lower than 70 out of 100. So that you have, you know, embedded in there this idea that you can reach hero. We're going to start you at 0, but you can reach hero, which is a whole different question than Joe the Baker over there. He's 0, and he's going to make it to 1.5 before the end of his life, and that's it. You're going to go from 0 to hero. There are adult concerns about that with longevity of campaigns and everything like that. I understand that, but those are my thoughts about it. I'm going to link Ivan's video down below and Robert the Narrator's video down below. See ya.